Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, Anita Finley.
Interesting little treat for you this morning. Of course, you've heard Jim Hansen before, who is the owner, the franchisor, a wonderful senior organization. And I have to tell you, I have a crowd here this morning, so I'm trying to get everybody adjusted. But you know about seniors helping seniors. Well, we are very fortunate now to also have one of Jim's franchisors in the studio, as well as the partner calling in from Memphis, is it?
Yes, Memphis.
Okay, so we're going to put you closer to the mic so we don't miss anything from you, Paul. So we have Paul, who is I'm going to get your last name too. I'm sorry, Paul.
It's KAISER.
KAISER, right. We got all my stuff here put together incorrectly. So you see, you can't, It's funny. We just had a person on who has beginning Alzheimer's, and she was talking about how she has to write everything down. Little does she know that all of us have to have everything written down so that we know what we're doing. But Paul KAISER, okay, well, let's just say that. So good morning, Jim.
Good morning.
And your associate's name, Paul, is?
Ed DUNKEL.
Ed DUNKEL, D-U-N-K-E-L. Okay, hello, Ed. I know that you're listening.
I am listening. Good morning.
Good. Okay, so we have a crowd here. We also have Dr. Andy Mencia, who will be on at 7, and he is a geriatric physician. And we have one of his assistants here, a beautiful Russian woman, Ina. So we're crowded this morning.
We've got a full house.
Full house. Okay, so where do we want to start with you? It's interesting that I always say this to everybody, that if I didn't have the business I have now, I'd be one of your key franchisors.
and you'd be perfect. One of the things that we did this morning.
Why would I be perfect?
Because you have such a passion for our seniors and the causes that they're all about. So that's what we look for. And I think that we've got two great representatives here today with Paul and Ed. That's the exciting part about our franchise, Anita. We continue to expand. We're now we are open in the Pompano Beach area. Paul and Ed just opened up recently. They went through our training program, and I'll let them give a little bit about their background, but that's what we're continuing to do. We've got 3 more territories to still develop in the Broward County area so that we can bring this wonderful organization to the entire Broward County. And that's going to make us fully contiguous from Broward all the way up to Brevard. So we have offices all the way up the East Coast, and we're working on doing that on the West Coast and in the middle. Pretty soon, Florida is just going to be full of seniors helping other seniors. So
I love that, but the one thing that I think people have to understand is this is a companion service.
It is.
And people should know, and I think, actually, Jim and Paul, that companions are going to be more needed than the other type at the moment, because a lot of people are on the verge of needing help. They don't quite need that medical help. They just need people to drive them and to help them with the shopping and fix their television for them and their computer and all the things that they need, right, to function.
Yeah, and I think the thing that we have to focus on is getting our seniors to accept that help earlier rather than later. Because if we can get them to start it earlier, we can keep them independent in their home for a lot longer. Many times they don't want to admit they need any help until it gets to be a little too late. And we can step in ahead of time and be able to make that happen. So
okay, so now we're going to let us hear from you, Paul. I mean, here you are, and I was very impressed to hear. And I always ask, why did you become a franchisor? You're an attractive gentleman, and what are you doing with all these seniors?
Well, thanks for the compliment. I became a franchisor because of the need that I saw out there in the community. My mother lives with me, and I see around her need to have a companionship to help her with her everyday needs. And talking to friends of mine who are roughly my age, I'm about 61 now, if their parents are still alive, they're all going through the same thing. Their parents do need some sort of companionship care. And down here in Florida, many of them live by themselves. Their children are not around. So we can provide a substitute to the actual family members being down here.
So, Ed Dunkel, you're in Memphis. What are you doing there?
Well, I am. I actually live in Florida. I had to come back to Memphis this weekend because I had to help my parents. I had to help them get some final things together. My father just moved into an assisted living facility on Wednesday, and I'm just here getting everything straightened out so that things will run appropriately when I leave to go back. And it's very similar. My experience of why I got into be a franchisor with seniors, helping seniors, is exactly what Paul has already said to you. The need, the amount of people who need just a little help, just a little companionship, maybe let's go to the supermarket, let's talk about something, let's take a little walk. And it's amazing what you can do and what you can bring to a senior's life and help them stay away from going into an assisted living or into a nursing facility. Keep them independent as long as possible in their own homes.
Well, let me add something for all of you here because, and I think Dr. Mencia, who's sitting here, of course, understands this, but people don't really get the whole picture of when they, just like his mother's going to go into assisted living, they still need companions. And I know people don't understand that. They think that they're going into assisted living or they're going to independent living. That's not enough for a lot of them. Maybe it's protection, but they need that extra person because those people who run those facilities, they can't. Your mother is not their only care person. She may want this, she may want to do that. Sure, they'll take them maybe to the doctor, they'll take them to the grocery store. But what about all the other things? You think if she wants to go to the movies, they're going to take her to the movies? They're not. They need your companions the same way. And I want people to understand that.
No, in fact, we have several clients that we now go to an assisted living facility and do exactly what you've just said, Anita. Keep them company there, take them out to a movie, whatever they need, we will provide that for them.
And Jim, you got into this. I mean, your background is astonishing, of course, being with your company, and you want to talk about that a little bit, and then what made you move over to doing what you're doing?
Well, I was the same, a little different, but I was the caregiver for my grandmother. I got to be blessed by being able to be the companion for her for the last 8 years of her life. She was independent in her own home until she was 96 years of age. She got into a fatal automobile accident, killing my uncle at the age of 88. And she ended up with 2 broken ribs, 2 broken wrists. And 12 weeks later, she was back cleaning houses. This is the type of toughness that came from that generation. And, I just was in awe of her. But I did all the things that we do now. I took her to the grocery store. I took her to get her 6 hairs done at the beauty parlor. And she would come out sparkling. And, she didn't believe in banks. And how wise was she back then, knowing that what we know today with all those problems? But she had to pay all of her bills in cash. And but this was a woman that was born in the late 1800s. And I used to say to her, Graham, Did you have running water when you were a child? And she said, of course I did, Jimmy. My father said, Gladys, run out to the pump and get some water. And so that was running water to her. But I was, I learned firsthand what one person could do to make a difference in another person's life. And it wasn't complicated things. It was just being human and doing the things that we love to do for our family members. Unfortunately, today we're so crunched for time that we don't have the time because it's 2 family incomes. The husband and wife are both working, so nobody has time to take care of the aging parent. With my grandmother, we were able to do that. And then I also, at the age of 96, she had a bowel obstruction. And she ended up going in for surgery. And she made it through with flying colors. They were amazed, but they said, Gladys, you can't live in your duplex anymore because you can't go up and down the stairs. So back then, my parents ended up putting her in a nursing home, and within 4 months, we lost her. She lost her will to live. So I saw also, when you put that person out of their home, no longer being where they need to be, what an impact that can have. So I saw it from both sides, and when I saw the model of seniors helping seniors, it just made sense. I mean, having another senior who has age under their belt, that wisdom, they understand the pace, right, of another senior. Younger people, they get frustrated because they can't handle the fact that it takes somebody longer to do something. Where another senior understands it because it's taken them longer to do it. You know, that's why I had to get up at 4:30 this morning to be able to get showered and ready to get here.
But I have to tell you, Dr. Mency is sitting here, and I hear him in back of me. He's chomping at the bit. He can hardly stand not talking because, as a geriatric physician, I'm going to give him this. Okay, go ahead. I know you can't stand this.
This is beautiful because, what we're doing here with this organization is basically breaking that generation gap. You get a young kid to be a companion of a 96-year-old person, and they're not going to listen to the same music or read the same book or, have the same topics to talk about.
That's right.
And it's so beautiful to get somebody that's a little bit more mature, middle-aged or above, to assist somebody, just to be there to talk to. And it's so different. I remember having a patient of mine that moved into a 55 and over community. And her blood pressure was a little bit out of whack. So I said, I'm going to send a nurse to come over. And she agreed. Everything was okay at the office. When she saw that nurse coming into the community, she said, no. Everybody in the community knows that something is wrong with me. I don't want it. Mm-hmm. So I can see this organization be able to penetrate people on those community 55 and over. And it's just a companion, just a friend coming over. It's not a nurse or a NAID or anything like that. So I think this is great.
No, you're so right. And you just reminded me of when we take somebody grocery shopping. We're not in scrubs. We're not in a uniform. It's another mature person taking a mature person out to the grocery store. So it does look like a friend helping a friend. And that reduces that stigmatism that's out there. So people want to go out more. And that's what's needed. So,
well, let me just get. I know that Ed's listening and Paul together, and you're a new franchisor, and so how exciting is this for you? I mean, it's a new business, but it's a wonderful business.
Oh, we're very excited about it. We're very, very excited. We've just started in the last roughly month and a half, and we already have several different clients that we're already helping.
So let's say if people wanted, and now your area is Pompano, and Jim is here, and so I'm going to give you one number, and then Jim, at the moment, I think
we'll be happy to pass on the information.
Yeah, we'll pass it on.
Absolutely.
I think we better do that because we get too many numbers, and then people will be confused. Let's just give Jim's number.
Yep.
And then, depending on the location, that they'll pass it on. So it's 561-392-4846. 561-392-4846. And you can always go to their website, which is seniorshelpingseniors.com. Seniorshelpingseniors.com. I'm sure. So, Ed, I look forward to meeting you one day. I know you're far away right now. I do happen to love Memphis, though.
Well, I look forward to meeting you also, Anita, and look forward to helping seniors in the Broward County area.
So the whole point of having both of you now doing this is to make sure that there are enough seniors out there who want they not only need the help, but we want seniors to call to be a new. We don't call them volunteers.
No, we call them providers of care.
Providers.
Yes.
Okay. So you're doing both things. So if people are listening right now and they're interested in working in this capacity as a companion, they can also call that number, and I guess you will be interviewing them, right?
Yes, we are.
And your interview skills. What's going to be the most important thing that you're going to find that you want someone to work for you?
Well, I'm going to hand that question over to Ed because he is our interview guy between the two of us.
Okay, Ed. So what are you going to look for in someone if they come to you?
I'll take this question. What I am looking for when I talk to someone about seniors helping seniors is someone who has a volunteer's heart, someone who is, would do this anyway, would volunteer, but is going to get paid for it also. But they have the heart of a volunteer, and you can just tell their passion and their compassion and their willingness to just, I can do this. I want to help someone. And if that comes through loud and clear in an interview, that's what I'm looking for. Those are the people that I'll move on with and try to get them, explain more about the process and explain about exactly how we will use you and utilize you to help other seniors.
And that's a good point. The one thing that I always like the fact that sons, for a long time, we couldn't count on sons and men to help to help their parents. But somehow there's been a revolution, Jim. I don't know how this has all happened, but generally it was always the woman's role to do that. The men were working, whatever it was. But now a lot of men actually have the care, just like you're saying, of a woman. Now I have to go through this with you a minute because it's interesting. Think about this. You probably have to help your mother with a lot of things that you never would have figured you'd have to do.
That's true.
That's not what your seniors who are working. I'm just taking you personally because as a companion you don't get into any of that. But just thinking about men now taking care of their mothers, and I know a lot. It's a wonderful thing that you've taken that on, and because there's always a little embarrassment, I'm sure, but things have changed in our society today, haven't they?
Yes, they have, and I just need to help her, and we just get through it. Even if at times it might be a little uncomfortable, but the love prevails, doesn't it? The love prevails.
Yes,
right.
Yeah, and you wrote that article about love. You write great articles. By the way, people can go to Boomer Times and you'll see Jim Hansen on page 6 in the issue of May, and the next one in June is going to be great. It's all on trust.
That's right.
And trust. It's a great word.
Because this is what this business is all about. And that's one of the things that we find too, Anita, is that because we use mature caregivers, there's already a greater level of trust because they're more peer-to-peers. And so we look at that. Now, of course, we always make sure that we go through a criminal background check. They're bonded, they're licensed, we're licensed, they're insured. So, and like you just heard Ed, we go through very thorough interviewing processes. I would guarantee you that, Ed and Paul and myself, we all take the philosophy that we would never bring into somebody else's home somebody that we wouldn't have taken care of our own mother, grandmother, or dad. So, that's the litmus test, because we want to pay it forward. My wife says, we don't have what are we going to do when we get older? Who's going to take care of us? I said, you do realize the business we're in.
Right. And the one thing that we have to clarify too, you always say these are like volunteers who are working, but they're getting paid.
They are.
So people who now are who are retired and they need a little extra money, and do they have to work 5 days a week? How does that work, actually? And I know that you're new at this, Paul, but
No, it's not required that they work 5 days a week. Most of our receivers, presently, they will receive help maybe 3 days a week, 2 hours each day, presently.
Okay, but let's just say, and Jim, because of your experience, let's just say if someone needs someone for 8 hours, they can be there, but they don't have to work 7 days a week.
No.
Even though people like to have the same person.
Right.
So you work that out? How do you do that?
we have people that run the gamut. We have seniors that want to work more hours. We have seniors that work less. Typically, you're looking at 12 to 15 hours a week is what our normal provider of services works. They might have a couple of clients and they work with 2 clients. But we do have 24/7 cases too, where we have some of our seniors are there full time.
They just want a friend to be with them because they're afraid, or they need someone to watch over them.
We'll do overnights. It's because sometimes people are, family members are concerned about making sure that they're not getting up at night and falling or something like that. We also do a lot of people with early onset of Alzheimer's or dementia, because, That was one of the things. We've got 5.4 million people in America right now that have some degree of Alzheimer's. There's 500,000 right here in Florida. And, 60 to 70% of those have it's kind of a strange word that you hear with this, but they call it elopement. It's, wandering on foot, where they leave unnoticed. And that's a big problem. We're covered here in Florida with the silver alerts.
I was just going to mention that.
But we don't think about the fact that they'll leave their home and just walk and wander. And the problem is that if we don't make sure that we're monitoring that, there's a real risk issue for those seniors. So we will take care of that as well.
Well, the other thing is, of course, everyone knows I have my wonderful little dog here, and when I go away, I have to have a dog sitter.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there are a lot of people, just like if you want to go on vacation, Paul, you need to have someone stay with your mother. And so that's the kind of a thing I think that we're talking about here, isn't it?
Yes, it is. In fact, we have a receiver who just contacted us. The wife is leaving to go up north next week, and she needs someone to come over and watch her husband, provide dinner for him, and just keep him company. So we're now providing that service.
I love that. That's pretty
Isn't that nice.
I hope that
Yes.
he's not too attractive. No, I mean, be careful, ladies.
Well, we're sending over a good cook for him.
That may be what happens. If she doesn't cook, this could be trouble. I'm kidding. That's okay.
No, this provider loves to cook and is going to make him a good dinner every night while the wife is up north.
Okay, no, but that's a good point, because that's the whole scenario. It isn't always because someone is ill. It's because someone needs a little help, because someone can't drive, and yet they're perfect. We know a lot of people can't drive. It has nothing to do with that they, don't function.
Yeah, I'll give you another example. We just had a client. She has torn rotator cuffs in both of her shoulders. So one of the things that's frustrating for her is she can't reach up high. So we went in and we reorganized her whole closet and moved the shelves around so that she could then access the clothes that she wanted to wear on a daily basis. And we put the other things up higher so that those were out of the way. But now she's happy as she could be and it was a simple couple of day project. But we do things like that as well.
Oh, I think I'm going to have you come to my house. My closets need some adjusting too. Well, this is a great thing. And I know that, Ed, that you're going to be taking care of I guess your mom's going into assisted living, and then what will your father do?
Well, actually, it's my father that has gone into assisted living. And my mother is, we're getting her all straightened out here in Memphis. She will be staying here. My sister also lives here, so it's a connection that she can be taken care of, and will help to take care of my father by visiting the Assisted Living Foundation.
Yeah, so see, it's so, I'm sorry that it's happening to you, and of course, but it does make you more compassionate. You understand what's going on. It isn't like just people coming into a business, and it's for business purposes, not for the feeling of when you close your eyes that night that you know you have done some good things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so it's wonderful that Jim, you're certainly finding excellent people to represent your organization.
We do, and we take a long time to put people through a process to make sure that they're right for the business. And Ed and Paul both typify that, and they're great examples of the loving, caring, compassionate hearts that we have as owners of these businesses. And that's what I look forward to, is to be able to have these all over the state, so that we know that our seniors are going to be well taken care of.
And do you want men as well as women to be companions?
Absolutely.
I have to
yes,
assume.
definitely.
Absolutely.
When you think about all those people out there who would like some extra money and want to be still valued, I would think the phone should be ringing off the wall. Let me give the phone number again here. It's 392-4846. It's area code 561. 392-4846. And what you'll do is make a phone call. And if you are interested, then Ed will, when he gets back in town, he will be interviewing you. And you will make money, but you will also have a value. I'm sure you are going to make friends with the people who you are taking care of.
Yes, that's true. I mean, we recently had a receiver that we spent overnights with to give the wife a break from taking care of the husband. And we became very close to them. They lived right across in Palm Air, where we are, right across the way from us. And they've gone back to Chicago, and we sort of miss them right now. So
Yeah, that happens.
You do get attached to them.
Yeah, you will.
I'll give you a little great story. Over in our Fort Myers office, the woman was taking care of a receiver, and he was in some tough shape. And about 6 months later, the provider said, "I can't provide services anymore, and you can't have him as a receiver anymore because we're getting married."
Oh, no, that's the best story. That's the story. You need to put that in the next article. That is, because I was thinking that because you're dealing with people of the same age in a sense, and it's just someone that maybe needs it for driving or needs it for shopping or something else, or some spouse has just passed away. Well, we have run out of time almost. Thank you for calling in, Ed. We look forward to your coming back safe and sound.
Thank you very much. I look forward to meeting you and coming back to Florida also.
Okay, and we'll look forward to that. And thank you very much, Paul, for being here with us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
And, of course, as always, our good friend here, I have to tell you, since I've been with you, Jim, I have a whole new feeling about what it is to be a companion. I mean that. Even though I've understood it, I know a lot more from you, and I thank you for being in this business.
Well, thank you. And it's always a pleasure being here, Anita. You bring such zest to these shows, so it's wonderful.
Thank you. Well, that's what they call me, old zesty, right? Okay, well, thank you, everybody.